Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Jessica Alba and Lizzie Mathis. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Kevin Costner joins us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad, good morning to you. How are you?
George Lopez joins us right now. George, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What lovely to talk to me, funny lad.
Megan Trainor.
Thank you so much, Brad. You're awesome.
Chloe Bailey joins us. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore! Joe, thanks so much for taking the time. Congratulations on this project. How does it feel? Because I know, like, the labor of love that goes into all of these types of things. It is an incredible amount of man hours to get to where we are today. So how does it feel for it to finally be seen and hearing feedback from people?
It's really interesting. The feedback has been extraordinary, and it's interesting to see how it affects different people in different countries. Obviously, the Italians had a very intimate response and quite cathartic for them. In Britain, the response was sort of one of historical interest. In America, it feels now like it's quite a kind of prescient response, and that's very interesting too.
What was the initial attraction, though, to a character like Mussolini? I mean, it's a historical figure that we all know. I don't think that people maybe know more about that they learn, at least stateside in history class and social studies, right? Not someone who's very well studied stateside, I guess, from the public school system. What was your attraction to him?
Well, I guess I wanted to try and understand where this thing called fascism came from. It was a word that we kind of bandied about in the 80s, calling our teachers fascists, or the police were fascists, or, and we kind of trivialized the word. And so with the reemergence in the public consciousness of these themes, it felt like an opportunity for me to try and educate myself and understand what fascism is and how it started and where it came from.
I think all world leaders have a multifaceted personality, and they're very complex figures. What were the conversations that you had with cast and creators of the show about being able to portray that complexity and seeing all the layers of somebody like Mussolini?
Yeah, I mean, I think our response to him is very complex. I'm not sure how complex he was. I mean, I think he was a bully and a kind of a sort of a guy who desperately needed the adoration of other people to make himself feel whole. But one of the issues we faced was, how do we depict his charisma? How do we depict the fact that he seduced an entire nation and much of the world when he first came to power before the war? And where to balance that, that was a kind of question we asked ourselves, because if he wasn't seductive, if he wasn't charismatic, then that would somehow undermine those that he seduced.
Well, I guess when you talk about the seduction of it and being able to have a power to captivate an entire country, did you find maybe the one key thing that stood out to you? Like when you say seduction, what exactly do you mean? And if you can narrow that down?
I guess, I guess the ability to reach people's um, sort of innermost fears and exploit them to his own ends. And I think that was, that kind of ability to connect with these kind of primal impulses was one of his most powerful tools.
Well, when you have this central character and there's so much history written about him and there's documentaries and there's books and there's still people obviously walking around who lived through that era and were very familiar with Mussolini. How, as a storyteller and a creative, how do you walk that line of I want to make sure that I put a compelling piece of cinematic, enjoyment together for the people, but also honor the exact facts as they unfolded? What was the approach to that?
I guess, you have to look past the icon, and try and understand the human being. And when I say icon, I also kind of mean the demon as well. There are those on one side who still, unfortunately, believe that he was a great leader. And, I remember talking to one guy who sort of told me that it was Hitler who led him astray. But up until that point, he was really, a great leader and he got the trains running on time. He created order, which people hold in high esteem. So getting past that and also getting past the kind of demonization of him, because I don't think that's useful either. I think by kind of demonizing these figures, we absolve ourselves of responsibility. And so it's important to try and kind of look at the man and see where he came from on a human level, so that we can learn from him as humans.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I think that that's a broader conversation that's happening worldwide, especially about the ideology of platforming individuals who might have controversial takes or opinions. There's that word that you just used, humanizing them. And it seemed as though it's looked through a negative prism, but the way that you just explained it, it seems to be very much the opposite. Like to humanize can help us learn more about these fascists or these authoritarian type governments and individuals. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I think it starts, fascism starts on a personal level, right?
Mhm.
And what I ended up sort of believing was that fascism is the politicization of toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity comes from fear, I believe, comes from an insecurity. And so if you kind of dig down and understand where these sort of shadow impulses come from, then you can kind of tackle them and deal with them, whereas if you just say, well, they're demons, they're evil, that makes them other, and therefore they're like, some phenomena that is beyond our understanding, and therefore beyond our help, frankly.
Well, and it's interesting because I feel that toxic masculinity, as you point out, is anything but masculine, right? It's almost inherently not masculine when you think about this concept of toxic masculinity. But let me get to my final question. To me, it's always difficult to answer this. I think that if you're the filmmaker, but when an audience watches this, whether in whatever form it is, and they turn to each other, husband, wife, friends, whomever it might be, and have that conversation about the piece that they just saw. Do you have a desired goal of what you want that conversation to be?
Um, uh, yeah, I guess I would hope that that conversation is about the parallels that can be found in today's world. And I certainly don't just mean America, I mean
Sure.
around the world. And possibly, in the end, the very last word of the show, and I don't think this is a spoiler, the last word of the show is silence, silencio. The fact that there were those who remained silent, thinking that this would all just blow over. And I think that they are as responsible as Mussolini himself for allowing it to happen. So I hope that people might use their voices to stand up against bullying on a national political level.
Well, I think that those conversations are going to definitely be had. And so if that was your desired goal, it shall be achieved. Joe, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. Again, congratulations on the project.
Thank you, Brad.
Have a good one, sir.